Getting our friends together isn't as easy as it used to be. We get it. Life comes at you fast. But trust us, your pals are desperate for a good hang. And when they hear you stock the party with drinks from Drizzly, they'll be banging down your door. Let Drizzly, the go-to app for drink delivery, take care of the supplies. All you need is an excuse. It doesn't even have to be a good one. It's your dog's birthday. The loquats are finally ripe. Whatever. With Drizzly, you can compare prices on a massive selection of beer, wine, and spirits and get them delivered straight to your door, which means you can entice the crew to leave their houses without ever leaving yours. Whatever the occasion, download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com. Today. Must be 21 plus. Not available in all locations. Man, I wish they had Drizzly when I used to play D&D and Riffs. Maybe it's time for me to start again. Thanks, Drizzly.
Do you ever feel like life is a never-ending series of lessons while you try to find purpose, meaning, and answers? I am Vanessa Fontana, the host of Figuring Shit Out, a podcast where we undertake self-help, coming of age, and healing. As I live my 20s in New York City figuring shit out myself, I've realized that if you spend your whole life trying to get your act together, you don't have a life. You have an act. On Figuring Shit Out, every Sunday you get to normalize the journey of not knowing and be guided into living your life with more intention and ease.
The podcast playground.
Hooray! Hey! It's my song! Let's sing it! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Come on! It's gonna be fucking awesome! You know the words! It's gonna be fucking awesome! That's it! Sing! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Yeah!
Hey ho, it's me, my fellow Coolest Geeks, the Coolest Geek Alive, Jessica Snyder. If you're out here and you're listening to my show, YouTube, on one of the Coolest Geeks Alive, because you're on the inside, you know what's going on. You're listening to me, whether you're a fan or not. I'm a fan, so you know. I'm a professional, so you know. I got my fingers in the mix. Really awesome. My comic is Fucking for Your Future, for Our Future, is up on Fund My Comic right now. This is like pre-sale. It's going to be up on Kickstarter in January. Really stoked about that book. I've talked about it a little bit on other episodes, so I won't talk about it here. But it's fucking super funny. And if you just go to Fund My Comic /fucking, they made me censor the book on the website, but I got away with that URL. So fundmycomic.com/fucking, and you will get to our awesome book. Anyway, yeah, I'm super stoked. I'm a little pissed at my printer because King of Kings is going to be like, I don't know, they told me 15 days, and then I reached out to them after I think like a good 9 days. I didn't count, but it was like a week and change later, and I was like, so, where are we at? Because they told me 15 days, and he told me 15 days again. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And there was like one like silly question that they had to ask me, which should have been obvious from the fucking... I literally made, I won't like shout this printer out in a bad way, but like I literally made them a grid of like this cover, this many copies, this cover, this many copies, this is a wraparound cover, this many copies, this is a wraparound cover, this many copies, this done like this. So a little annoyed that that my book is slightly delayed. I was hoping to be like packaging some things up right now and sending them out, but I'll be sending them out in the new year, and that'll be really awesome. If you ordered one of those, thank you so much for supporting King of Kings. We'll get to the second issue next year sometime. Anyway, I mean, the world is like fucking ridiculous, and us here in the center have to hold to our joy, and we have to focus on the things that we love. And I thought, first I was like, do I do like a Christmas something or whatever? And I was like, my favorite thing to watch during the Christmas season are like the un-Christmas movies, if you know what I mean. Like I love me some Christmas movies, and I might this week do like just like a straight up Christmas show of my favorite Christmas movies of all time, because I love Christmas movies. I'm a big Christmas geek, and I think it applies. I think when you're a geek and you're into geek culture stuff, all of it becomes like a little bit of your culture, and you have like a list. If you're like me, you have lists everywhere. I have lists of my favorite Christmas movies that I wanted to watch previous years or whatever, and did various marathons of things. So super fun. But for me, when I can find those non-Christmas movies, of course the classic example of this is Die Hard. So I'm not talking about your Nightmare Before Christmas or your Black Christmas, which are great movies. Or what's the one with Goldberg? Is it called Christmas Sleigh? There's a pretty great like WWE produced Christmas movie with like Goldberg as a crazy fucking Santa Claus, and that movie has its charms. But no, today I want to talk about specifically 13 movies that may not directly deal with Christmas, but take place in whole or at least in part in a significant way at Christmas. And these are all just awesome movies that I think are close enough to fit in with the Yuletide joy, especially if you're somebody who's a little bit more of a horror geek, or if you're a little bit more of just a sci-fi geek or an action geek. You know, this isn't just geek movies here. You know, there's a lot of fucking just awesome movies. And my first like two on the list are a little bit of a cheat, and I'm sure this will make me think of other movies and stuff. So, you know, this will end up being more than the 13 that I said, but let's go. Let's fucking go. So, at number 13, we got Stallone, because there's like 3 movies you can choose from if you want to enjoy some Stallone. You got a little bit of Christmas in the original Rocky. You've got a significant portion of the movie taking place at Christmas when he's in Russia for Rocky 4, which is fun. But even kind of better than that, I find, and really was the one like for the list, these ones I was just kind of like, oh, but they're like all Stallone movies, so I'll put them on. But it was First Blood. First Blood is a fucking awesome action movie. I just found out recently that it was terrible. There was all this dialogue and just like pontification on Rocky's part, and basically Stallone came in and said, cut all of this talking out. So like there's some version of First Blood that nobody wants to see where Stallone's just like yakking the whole fucking movie. But the actual movie that was released, First Blood, is great. I think one of the greatest dramatic action films of all time. If you've never seen it, like this is one of the movies that solidified Stallone. I mean, you got Rocky. Rocky's, you know, very well known, but First Blood's talked about a little bit less. First Blood is sick. It's really like and I'm not going to talk like too much like plots for some of these, because some of them I don't remember them as well as I'd like to, because I haven't watched them recently, like LA Confidential and a couple others. But in general, all these movies I'm talking about here, they're fucking great. So you know, go and enjoy them, and I won't like spoil it. But you know, little just the basic plot for First Blood is that Stallone is a vet, and he's coming back from Vietnam, and he's being sort of treated as a vagrant by the police in this local town where he's trying to visit a fallen brother in arms. And he gets sort of abused by them so badly that something snaps in him, and he like disappears into the woods and goes on a one-man war against these people. Very fucking cool shit. All right, so number 13, the Stallone block. You know, any of these are appropriate, but First Blood, it would be my real recommendation here. And I couldn't exactly decide here. I mean, really, number 12, this is the Shane Black block, and Iron Man 3's here only because this is the Coolest Geek Alive, and it's grown on me over time. Iron Man 3, I like Iron Man 3. It's made by Shane Black. Shane Black's amazing. He has a little bit of a penchant for putting Christmas into some of his films, and there's 2 in particular that I fucking love. The first one is I always liked Robert Downey Jr., and this movie, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, with him and Val Kilmer, who's another actor who I just adore. Shout out to Val Kilmer. If you've never seen some of the great Val Kilmer movies like Real Genius, go watch Real Genius or Willow with Val Kilmer. Oh, fucking great. Robert Downey is the shit. And I mean, he's got a long career. You know, one of the earliest things I can remember seeing him in was Weird Science. You know, he's kind of like one of the bully characters in that. Weird Science is a great fucking movie too. But Kiss Kiss Bang Bang was just a return to form for both of them. They had both had various struggles or whatever, whether it was like in films, you know, kind of turning in mixed performances or you know, looking a little shabby in one way or another. And they came together, and like they are 2 of the most charming actors in Hollywood, 2 of my favorites, next to one of the next actors that I'll talk about in a second. And they were just fucking awesome together. together, and it was such a great, charming piece of Shane Black. Shane Black is really great. He makes really charming movies. I mean, starting with his Monster Squad script. I can't say that. Say that 3 times fast. Monster Squad script. Okay, I'm doing it. All right. But Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, was awesome. And I'm really like Iron Man 3. He wouldn't have been Iron Man 3 if not for Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I don't know if Robert Downey Jr. would have been cast as Iron Man if not for Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. So kind of an important, pivotal movie. And just great, interesting. I don't remember exactly what it was about now that I'm thinking about it. It was kind of like these two guys had to team up to like solve a crime, basically. Some like shit that was going on, and they're just some really interesting characters. But it's fucking great. I haven't seen it in a minute, but it's such a good movie. What up, guys? Jesse Blaze Snyder here. And whether your resolution is to save money, eat better, or stress less, HelloFresh is here to help you do all 3. Say hello to your most delicious year yet with fresh ingredients and chef-crafted recipes at a price point you'll like, delivered right to your door. So you've resolved to actually sit down and eat dinner around the table like me. But what do you do about those nights when your schedule's packed, like mine always is? Turn to HelloFresh's lineup of quick and easy meals, including their 15-minute recipes designed to help minimize mealtime stress. It's really awesome, actually. My brother, Shane, he was doing Twitch, and he had a sponsorship from HelloFresh. So me and my girlfriend at the time, we got a bunch of HelloFresh meals, and we ended up doing it for a few months because it was just awesome. It was super convenient. The biggest thing about it that I liked was that I didn't feel like I was wasting food all the time because everything was cut into portions exactly what you needed for the meals. And the meals were delicious. You know, my girl was making them mostly, and I mean, they were really great and usually pretty easy to get done, like fast and stuff. I really highly recommend HelloFresh. It's quite a cool experience to just have that food show up to your door. Here's the directions. Here's everything pre-cut. And, you know, you're just cleaning up the dishes to get it done. So go to HelloFresh.com/CoolGeekFree and use code CoolGeekFree for free breakfast for life. I'm so excited to offer that to you. 1 breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/CoolGeekFree with code CoolGeekFree. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. And also Lethal Weapon. And I had some movies that I wanted to bump. And, but both of these movies are great. And, and just have a little bit of connection to Christmas for Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. And big connection to Christmas. Well, I mean, it's not like big, but it's just the whole, the whole movie is taking place during Christmas. I don't remember how big actually the Kiss Kiss Bang Bang connection was. It was coming up on a couple things. I meant to go look it up so I could remember what the direct connections were, because I've never watched that one during Christmas, but that's one of my fucking favorite movies of the past 20 years, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. So just take my word for it that one's good, and you can write me a letter at jesseblaze@jessesnyder.com and let me know what the connection to Christmas was, because I'm an idiot and I didn't prepare for that one. Anyway, Lethal Weapon is fucking awesome. The whole Lethal Weapon series is really great. Even kind of the third movie will grow on you over time, which is seems like a little bit like a waste. But the first and the second film are amazing. They're directed by Richard Donner, starring Danny Glover and Mel Gibson. Danny Glover and Mel Gibson have a great fucking chemistry together. Danny Glover is a great actor. Just got a great presence and really owns it's like a role he was born for. He's just nailed it. And then Mel Gibson's kind of a role he was born for, even though Mel Gibson in general is just a fucking great actor, but he's just got something a little chaotic behind his eyes or something, and then this really warm heart, and this role just gives you that exactly. And this whole series of films is awesome. They've been talking for a while about making another Lethal Weapon film. If they do, I am fucking excited, really, especially if they do a good job with it, because as a writer, I'm telling you, they could do a good job with it. They could do a great, I mean, the tagline for Lethal Weapon from the original is, "I'm getting too old for this shit." I mean, seriously, Lethal Weapon 5, and they're old. I mean, if they don't go too slapstick with it and too silly with it, it could be fucking amazing. So I'm excited about that. Anyway, get into the Lethal Weapon franchise. It's a great one. Worth checking out. So that's my little Shane Black block, even though perhaps he may return to this list because there's something too good. Okay, at number 11, we got LA Confidential. Great fucking movie. I don't remember like the details of it, but I've shown it to a bunch of people over the years. I've watched it at least like 3 times, but I haven't seen it in like I don't know, maybe like 10 years. It was one of the big roles for Russell Crowe that got him in the in the running for a lot of different things. It was nominated for like a dozen different Academy Awards. I think it won some. And Kim Basinger's in it, looking beautiful, and it's like all like an investigation, and a scandal, and cover up, and all this great shit, and largely takes place during Christmas. So I say go watch that one. If you like that kind of stuff, more serious, and it's an Oscar contender film, but I love stuff like that that's based on reality. It's like based on some real scandal or whatever that went on in Hollywood, of course, loosely, I'm sure, but great shit. At number 10, it's really, I wrote Die Hard 1 and 2, but really I put this as 2 because I know everybody knows Die Hard. So, but Die Hard 2, everybody forgets Die Hard 2, actually, though it takes place at the airport. It is a Christmas film. Once again, around Christmas time, that shit goes down. I don't know why Hans Gruber wasn't like, you know what? We're going to complete the cycle. I'm going to kill that motherfucker around Christmas. That's what, that's what the Sam Jackson movie was needing. If you're not into the Die Hard franchise, it's great. Die Hard 1, Die Hard 2, Die Hard with a Vengeance. And a lot of people hate the fourth one for some reason. It is a bit over the top, but I feel like it is just grounded enough and pretty fucking awesome. And they did make another sequel, so I think that maybe the consensus of the middle of the audience was like, this is dope. I didn't even see the fifth one that they made because I heard it was really bad, and heard a few like particular things about it, and I was like, all right, I don't like the sound of that, so I didn't watch that one. But Die Hard 1, 2, 3, I can say everybody I think is in consensus that it's great. Die Hard 3 is a great buddy cop movie with Sam Jackson and Bruce Willis, and it takes on a whole new kind of vibe, even though it's still so much of the Die Hard thing. The Die Hard series is fucking great. Like seriously, if you even watch this, the second one's really solid. The third one's great. Because Sam Jackson would, and I think the fourth one's fucking great too. It's a bit over the fucking top. I think there's a great little like cameo by Kevin Smith in it as well. It's a good flick, the fourth one. If you hated it the first time, or you haven't, didn't catch it because you heard it wasn't good, go check that one out. The fourth one's actually really good, but not a Christmas movie. So wait until after the holiday. But Die Hard 2 is a Christmas movie, and that's number 10 on our list. Okay, number 9 on our list. I think technically there's only like one scene in this movie that takes place at a Christmas party, but the protagonist of the film is specifically called out as being a Grinch. So I think any film that has a reference to, like it's like inside Christmas baseball, I feel like that's it. And that's American Psycho, which, isn't a movie that I watch a lot, but it's a movie that I just really appreciate for the fucking anarchist whole angle. I really just believe in going all the way when it comes to your metaphors, and if you're gonna say something, fucking say it all the way. And this movie really says it all the way, and it's funny in really dark ways that you're like, oh god, I don't like laughing at this. But it's really well done. Great performance by freaking what's his name? Batman. Christian Bale, and I've loved Christian Bale since that movie he did, Newsies, the musical, the Disney musical. Newsies is a great fucking musical. He rules the school here. Apparently he got a lot of his mannerisms and approach to the part by watching Tom Cruise, which isn't exactly a nice compliment to Tom Cruise, even though that man's got my respect. But I mean, just as some of his mannerisms being like very like hot to like baseline to sort of like very super hypey or happy, and like just kind of overdoing it, I guess, was like the thing that he took from that. Anyway, that's awesome, and I recommend American Psycho, especially if you're a horror fan. If you've never seen American Psycho and you're a horror dude, like fucking go watch American Psycho. But if you're in the mood for a horror movie that has a little bit of Christmas in it, that's a good one. At number 8, and I completely fucking forgot about this movie, but I used to watch this movie all the time at Christmas time. And to me, it was totally one of those Christmas movies, like when people started to talk about how Die Hard was that Christmas movie. I was like, yeah, I've got movies like that. And this was one of them, Ghostbusters 2.
By the end of it, it's New Year's and like all that stuff, and like after Christmas, like in between, like in that little area. I love Ghostbusters 2, and I know that Ghostbusters 2 is like hated on, but Ghostbusters 2's got some great music in it that I really love. Your love keeps taking me higher, higher. I said your love keeps taking me higher and higher. I can't even sing the fucking high. I probably went too high. But fuck, I love that. I love that shit when they're. I just love it. Nothing fills you with more Christmas than being in Christmas time watching Ghostbusters 2 as they're sliming the inside of the Empire State Building and charging it with good vibes and playing good songs about how your love keeps lifting me higher going into the new year. Like, fuck, man. Like, I don't know why this should have been number one on my list, really. Like I said, I forgot about it. I haven't watched it in a while during Christmas, but I was just like, as soon as I saw it on somebody else's list, because I went through like a lot of like other lists, just like looking at things, because I had some that were immediate that I was like, oh yeah, this one and this one and this one, and then there was a few where I was like, oh yes, motherfucker, thank you. I should give the credit to whoever called out Ghostbusters 2 because there was only one person's list, but fuck yes, I agree, thank you. So Ghostbusters 2, yeah, man, Ghostbusters 2, I love Ghostbusters 2. Okay, I'm moving on. Fuck all you guys who don't like Ghostbusters 2. Maybe it is just like a rehash of Ghostbusters 1, but it's very fucking charming in all the right ways. And Vigo the Carpathian, come on, man, like get with this shit, Janish. You should just go. You go. Sigourney Weaver. Yeah, man. I love that movie. I like that movie a lot. Okay, at number 7 on my list is one that shows up a bunch of people do talk about sometimes, but it's another fucking great one that if you haven't watched, like nowadays I realize like, oh, like technically speaking, like I'm old. I'm like 41, I'm going to be 42. I don't know. I'm not sure. One of those. And, I still feel like a baby. But I'm like people haven't necessarily seen these movies, haven't necessarily grown up with a great dad like mine who introduced me to all the great comedies of all time. A film like Trading Places. Fuck yes. Trading Places is great. And Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd, Jamie Lee Curtis looking beautiful, and some great hackling rich old white guys like doing the best Statler and Waldorf you've ever seen. And I mean the movie's just hysterical, and it's like a rags to riches story for a homeless dude played by Eddie Murphy to Dan Aykroyd, who goes from rich to homeless, and them coming together to get these motherfuckers. It's great. Really, really, really great. Highly recommend it. If you haven't watched Trading Places, definitely put that one on this holiday season. At number 6, this is Coolest Geek Alive. I'm so proud of this movie. It is a relatively accurate and loving adaptation of one of my favorite comic book characters of all time, including many of the most powerful and wonderful elements that were later created by Joe Kelly when he came to turn the character into just sort of a good visual, which was provided by Rob Liefeld, even though the visual is kind of a ripoff of a lot of other things, but it is a good visual. And Joe Kelly, as writing it for his series, he really took Deadpool's name, Deadpool's origin, just everything about Deadpool, and gave it real rich meaning. And the film Deadpool nails the character. It's just Ryan Reynolds is an embodiment of that character. I always imagined that he might play that character, that he would be so good in it, since I saw Van Wilder back in the day. I've never seen Van Wilder, a movie with Ryan Reynolds. Fucking awesome movie, Van Wilder. And also, if you like Ryan Reynolds, and another great Ryan Reynolds movie is Waiting and Van Wilder. Great ones. Anyway, Deadpool is great, and there is a little bit of Christmas. Enough Christmas in it, and it's geeky enough that I had to put it on the list. I had to give it a piece of prominence, even though like it feels like it's got like maybe the smallest amount of Christmas on my list. Maybe. No, like Rocky's similar. But Deadpool's fucking awesome. put that on during Christmas. He's red, Christmas is red. All right, number 5. I had to put him back on the list again. It's Long Kiss Goodnight by Shane Black. Dude, if you haven't seen A Long Kiss Goodnight, oh, what a great movie. You want to talk about female empowerment done right. Ladies taking on the more traditional roles played by men and just fucking killing it and everything. Gina Davis in The Long Kiss Goodnight and her sidekick, Samuel Jackson, who she essentially emasculates the whole film in just such a wonderful way, sexy way, cool way, powerful way. I mean, really, like, if you're a lady who, like, wants to feel more sexy, like, watch The Long Kiss Goodnight and, like, absorb some of this bitch's energy, because she just kills it in that role. There's a lot of other good actors who were in that one too. I'm not remembering off the top of my head because it's been a minute since I've seen it, but oh man, the two main leads is Gina and Samuel Jackson. Her trying to save her kid, I'm pretty sure, is like one of the main like plot points. And Long Kiss Goodnight's a great one. I got to watch that movie again. I haven't watched it in such a long time, but I've seen it so many times. But it's been a while. It's I went through like a little bit of a depression for like a while. Just like money was just tight and things were a little hard, and I stopped doing a lot of the things that I liked. During that point I stopped reading monthly comics, and I'm so disappointed in that because I keep trying to get back to it, and I'm not exactly. I haven't been able to get into the habit of going to the store regularly, so I just go when I go. But like, it was so rough, and like movies, that I'd always be working with movies on in the background, and I guess I kind of stopped doing that because they would distract me sometimes. So instead I was like, I gotta work. And I used to read comics on the train, and I was like, no, I gotta work on the train. So I just like took all that stuff out of my life, and I think it contributed to and exacerbated the depression like that I went through. So I didn't get to like watch and rewatch so many movies. I used to rewatch things all the time. So when I sit here and I say like, oh man, I love this movie, but I can't like tell you like so much about it, it's only because I've watched so many fucking movies, and I prefer to watch new things. So the one thing that I've kept up with are new movies, and less so have gone back to like rewatch old movies. But I used to have this massive like, I don't know, 5,000 or 6,000 strong collection of DVDs. That includes like TV shows and films and various genres and shit, and I can tell you, Long Kiss Goodnight was in my collection. I watched it so many times. It's a great same thing with LA Confidential, even though I only watched that one like 3 times, I think, because it's kind of long, but it's really good. I think I saw it in theaters, and I was like, this is fucking dope. Bought it when it came out on DVD, and I watched it one other time to show somebody how fucking great it was. But I mean, sometimes that's just not enough for you to remember like all the details of the thing. All right, coming up at number 4. We've got, this is one of my favorite movies of all time, period. I don't feel like enough people really know about it and are turned on to it. I really am highly recommending this for anybody who's trying to be an artist. Because every artist, whether you're drawing or writing or whatever, it's all writing, telling a story. And so often we want to tell such big stories, just like these gigantic fucking stories. And we forget that big stories can be told in small ways. And this fucking movie, In Bruges, is like one of the greatest fucking big enough story being told in a very small way. It takes place in Bruges. It stars Colin Farrell and it's that guy Gleason. I think his last name's Gleason. He's a large man, statured dude. He's a Irish dude. He was just in another movie with Colin Farrell recently. I think possibly written by the same guy. But this film is just a masterpiece. It's a master class in writing, and it is so well balanced. It is funny, it's dramatic, it's heartfelt, it'll make you feel something. It's got action, it's got gore, it's got some, just some horror to it. It's really just one of these perfect films that I would compare to something like The Princess Bride. Even though like it's not going to be like The Princess Bride, it's not like, heavy in the humor like that. It's a different kind of humor, and it's real. It's humor that comes from reality and real life situations and the truth of people and conscience conscious, like people's conscience. It's really awesome, and I'll give you the basic premise of it is essentially Colin Farrell plays this hitman who I guess he botches a job. It gets screwed up in some way, and he's ordered to go to Bruges to hide out and wait it out until the coast is clear. And one of the contacts comes to visit with him, and they've known each other a long time, or whatever. And that's all I'll say about it. But I mean, great movie, and I guess it takes place during Christmas, and I seem to remember watching it one Christmas going, oh, this is so cool, because he's away from his family and all this stuff. It's a really shitty time to be in Bruges. He's in Bruges during the holidays, fucking hates it. He doesn't want to be in Bruges. That's the running joke of the movie is him being stuck in fucking Bruges. I'm doing the bad impression because I haven't watched it in a minute, but great one. Seriously, for all you writers, watching Bruges. I gotta watch it again. I always enjoy watching it. I've seen it 4 times or something now. It's a slightly newer. All right, at number 3, getting towards the bottom of our list, Star Trek Generations. I like Star Trek Generations. Star Trek Generations isn't the greatest Star Trek film of all time, but it does get you with the feels if you're a big Star Trek fan, and I'm a big Star Trek fan, and the connection of the original Star Trek that my father passed on to me, and the Next Generation Star Trek that I became such a big fan of and grew my love of Star Trek. I'm probably a bigger Deep Space Nine fan, but I love Star Trek. Star Trek Generations has a lot to offer. Especially I think around the holidays, because it has a little bit of some Christmas stuff there. There's a great picture you always see of Picard standing next to the Christmas tree. And it's just because the movie plays heavily into the feels, trying to get you in the feels. Watching it when you're in the spirit of Christmas, I think just helps to get you in the feels of Star Trek. Granted, it can be a little bit of a thing of if you're not a Star Trek fan, I don't know if this is necessarily the first Star Trek movie for you, but if you are a Star Trek fan, don't forget Star Trek Generations to put on during the holidays, because it does play as kind of a great Star Trek film, holiday film, or at least in the way that I like to watch some of these movies. I mean, granted, like I said, I watch a lot of hardcore Christmas movies, and I've got kids, so I'm forced to. But the more I'm forced to watch those, the more in my private time, I'm yo, I'm gonna go watch some fucking weird ass movies that happen to be about Christmas. All right, number 2 on our list. I love this one at Christmas time. It's just there's such a ambiance about Tim Burton films, and his movies, definitely if you're in the right mood for them, they can really make you feel something and take you somewhere. And the one that I think kind of started it all for me with feeling that way about him, of he could really make me feel some things that I liked feeling, was Edward Scissorhands. And there's a lot of great stuff, iconic Christmas kind of moments in the movie, and just in general the snow and the sweetness of Edward and simpleness, and it's just a really I appreciate this one a lot as a great not a Christmas movie, and it definitely just fills me with the spirit of giving. The whole movie is just about them taking somebody in and trying to help them, and he's a little different, and other people might be scared of him, but they're that's just, that's Christmas. That's the spirit of Christmas. So I don't know. I thought that one deserved to be pretty high on the list here, Edward Scissorhands. And I if you're I think there's a lot of overlap between the punk and the metal community and the goth community and the geek community and the role-playing community and the, just we all find our own niches and stuff, but we share with one another and we enjoy these things, and they all become geek badges of honor for us. And I know so many people in the community who love and appreciate Edward Scissorhands and in general the work of Tim Burton, which you should definitely get into the work of Tim Burton. Generally, as a writer, he can let you down sometimes, but there's a lot of great stuff that he's done, even including the writing. And in general, everything always just looks cool and will fill you with kind of atmospheric imagination. And I don't know if that is a combination of words that makes any fucking sense. But there it is for you. Okay, so number 1 on this list, and I mean, now I'm Ghostbusters 2, but maybe Ghostbusters 2 should have been number 2, and I gotta bump this shit up. But because this is the one for me. And apparently, I don't even I guess I saw at some point somebody had the sequel to this movie came up, but I don't remember it having any Christmas connection. Maybe it does, and I'm just going over my head or something. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I've seen that a million fucking times. I don't actually like the first one as much as I like the second one, but at Christmas, you got to watch Gremlins. Gremlins is the best. Gremlins is the best. You know, it's a happy ending. It's a cute freaking little monster. Oh, some ugly little cute little monsters. Like, fuck, man. Gremlins is awesome. And then once you watch Gremlins, just put on Gremlins 2, because Gremlins 2 is, I think, one of the greatest fucking films of all time. If you've never seen Gremlins 2 and you are a smart person, you need to watch Gremlins 2. There is so much intelligence going on in that fucking movie. So many layers to what is happening within the context of how they've laid out this whole thing to do so many things, which ultimately is just like sort of, so like for you, for Gremlins in general, like across the board, if you don't know, like the mythology of a gremlin was that it was something that was going to fuck with your electricity, it was going to fuck with your machine, and you know, like if you had gremlins in your engines, and I don't know, I might be getting this wrong, or whatever, World War II or World War I, whatever it is, it was like eternal electrical malfunctions that fuck you up and send you crashing down. So, oh no, you don't want gremlins. So gremlins, one of like the big things, you know, you see in the movie is like them getting into the what is it? He's got like a mower, a bit industrial mower, them taking over the projector and taking over the technology. In the sequel, it gets to the next level because they have this building that's this entirely automated building of the future, and the gremlins come in to mess with all the stuff. So like, you know, there's layers beyond the initial bit of the gremlins and their daylight aversion and don't eat after midnight and all this fun stuff. But I love stuff like that. Like I know people are like, well, what is this? And explain that. It's like, you know what? Like, no. I love it when you can just kind of draw like some sort of arbitrary line in the sand, and then you have to like make it make sense. Like, make this make sense. And as long as you really toe the line and try to adhere to your nonsensical origin of the thing that you created, you know, this like, you know, it's always midnight somewhere, or whatever other argument can be made for some of the gremlin rules, you're winning. You've created a consistent piece of art that like will make sense to people and satisfy people, and people will be glad they fucking saw it, and people will tell other people about it because it's so great. No, you got to see it. It's so cool. It's so interesting. And Gremlins, I love Gremlins. I don't know about this Gremlins 2 thing being actually Christmas related, even though it did show up on one of the little lists. I was like, what? And there was another one that I didn't look up because I kind of doubted it. But I was like, I'm going to mention Gremlins 2 anyway, so I'll just say apparently somebody thinks it's taking place at Christmas. I don't remember that. But maybe, because the Futtermans are on vacation visiting them, and they're walking around down the street, I don't remember that it's like decorated for Christmas, but it could be. I just don't remember like the Clamp building being decorated for Christmas and shit, or like the inside of the building inside like being decorated for Christmas. But they're doing like the New Year's thing at the end of it. They do start spreading the news and shit. But that's not like a New Year's song necessarily. I guess it's kind of a New Year's song. Well, it's a New Year's song when you drop a ball in Big Apple. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's got some Christmas feels to it. But Gremlins and Gremlins 2 are two of my favorite movies of all time. You're definitely in my top 100. Again, films that are really balanced. They've got horror, they've got action, they've got comedy, they've got drama. Well, Gremlins 2 only hit you in the feels just like a little bit here or there. You'll feel for the gizmo. But I mean, that's the great thing. Like, I love creature shop shit. Like anything that is like real practical effects that I can see and hold in my hand, and it looks like somebody else is seeing and holding one of these real monsters, one of these cute little guys. I mean, they're even cuter in the freaking sequel, and the monsters are even like more grotesque, but at the same time, more beautiful. They're so beautiful, the freaking monster gremlins in the thing. Like, especially like Mohawk. He looks rad in Gremlins 2. Anyway, if you haven't seen those movies, fucking see them. You got Rocky, Rocky 4, First Blood, Iron Man 3, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Lethal Weapon, LA Confidential, Die Hard 1 and 2, American Psycho, Ghostbusters 2, Trading Places, Deadpool, Long Kiss Goodnight, In Bruges, Star Trek Generations, Edward Scissorhands, and Gremlins. You know which one you're going to watch? Okay, good. All right. That's it. I'm going to leave, after I do my normal sign-off thing, I'm going to leave you today with a song from my band, D.I.L.F USA. Hopefully, we provide the theme song. It's going to be fucking awesome, which is going to hopefully be up and available online soon, the theme song, as well as, again, our Christmas song that we released last year that people really like, Countdown to Christmas. The stuff's been down. I just, jump through the stupid hoops that this website that we use, TuneCore, to get it up and running. And hopefully by the time you listen to this, if you go to look, you'll find it if you want to check it out, because it's a really great song for Christmas. I wrote this for my family years ago. It's called Countdown to Christmas, and you'll hear it playing in a second when we get into the end of the show. Anyway, that's it for today, my coolest geeks. I'm your passionate geek culture commentator, Jesse Blaze Snyder. You can write to me, jesseblaze@jessesnyder.com. I love you all so much. I really do. And I look forward to hearing from you if you write me. Anyway, thank you for listening to my show. You can also follow me on Twitter. I'm Coolest Geek JBS. And I hope you join me next, Saturday today? So I hope you join me next Saturday, but also this coming Wednesday, where I think I'm going to do a long, my favorite Christmas movies episode for another ass-kicking episode of the Coolest Geek Alive. Enjoy Countdown to Christmas. Peace. Oh, by D.I.L.F USA.
Countdown to Christmas, countdown to gifts, countdown to smiles on all our lips, countdown to peace on earth and peace of mind, countdown to bliss, countdown to Christmas. On the first day of December, we start our countdown to Christmas. Like all good things, it comes slowly. Anticipation gets us through it, but we don't want to wait to celebrate. We want it now and not a second too late. Countdown to Christmas, countdown to gifts, countdown to smiles on all our lips, countdown to peace on earth and peace of mind, countdown to bliss, countdown to Christmas. Lighting the tree, decorations, billions of light hearts, millions of places, searching slowly for just the right gifts that say I love you, Merry Christmas. But we don't want to wait to celebrate. We want it now and not a second too late. Countdown to Christmas, countdown to gifts, countdown to smiles